Sit back and relax and enjoy the show with Big OG. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.
Fox News alert, the U.S. naval blockade of Iran is 10 hours in, and it's already beginning to bite.
Right now we have a blockade. They're doing no business. I didn't like seeing boats come out if they were doing business with Iran, but if they weren't, no boats came out. So now Iran is doing absolutely no business, and we're going to keep it that way very easily. Don't forget, their Navy is gone, their Air Force is gone, their anti-aircraft is gone, their radar is gone, and their leaders are gone. It's a lot.
The president's warning, if any Iranian ships come anywhere close to our blockade, they'll be immediately eliminated. U.S. Marines are ready to board Iranian oil tankers, and CENTCOM's ready to neutralize any Iranian fast attack boats that slip into the strait to cause mischief. One of Iran's surveillance drones flew too close to one of our destroyers, and we blew it out of the sky. And 2 tankers flying under false flags on their way to China were already intercepted and turned away. This is completely reversing everything Iran did to the strait. Now, every nation's ship in the world can sail out except Iran's. 15 American warships are involved in the operation. The mission to free the strait got underway this weekend when 2 guided missile destroyers sailed straight up the gut. The USS Frank E. Peterson and the USS Michael Murphy were the first 2 warships to bust into the strait since the start of the war. The regime threatened to attack if American ships entered. We did it anyway, and they did nothing. And we're about to start clearing the strait of mines, so oil tankers have a clear path out. The Iranians dropped some mines into the strait, but they forgot where they put them. But we have some tools at our disposal, like our Kingfish drones. They're shaped like a torpedo and use sonar to map the seabed and locate hidden explosives. Our Knifefish mine hunters scan the seafloor, too. We also have basically remote-controlled jet skis, mine hunters that search the water's surface. Our littoral combat ships deploy a wide variety of anti-mine packages, even Seahawk helicopters that can spot and destroy mines from the air. Soon, we might have backup.
Is it your anticipation, Mr. President, that other countries will assist in this effort to blockade Iran and those specific...
Yeah, other countries are going to also.
Which countries, sir?
We don't need other countries, frankly, but they've offered the services. We'll let it be known probably tomorrow.
The Royal Navy has minesweeping ships, but the Brits are being persnickety. They're hosting another meeting with the French and others about if and when they'll lend us a hand. Too little, too late? We'll see. Either way, the president's objectives are clear.
We can't let a country blackmail or extort the world, because that's what they're doing. They're really blackmailing the world. We're not going to let that happen.
The Iranians told us they'd open up the strait in exchange for a ceasefire, but they lied and set up a toll booth to get kickbacks in Chinese currency and Bitcoin. One U.S. Navy strategist says this, quote, the mafia calls it protection money. Iran calls it a toll. The result's the same. Where free seas end, shakedowns begin. Giving up the strait would surrender American power over the high seas, and it would send a message to Beijing that they can do the same thing in the South China Sea, where another large chunk of global trade sails through. Oil has to flow freely and trade in dollars. Any threat to that is a threat to the pillars of American supremacy. Quarantining Iran hits the regime in the wallet and puts pressure on their biggest customer, China. A successful naval blockade sets the conditions for a full Iranian defeat. The writing's on the wall. Democrats are either playing dumb or they are dumb.
I don't understand how blockading the strait is going to somehow push the Iranians into opening it.
We've enforced naval blockades on the Iranians before, stopping their shipment of weapons to the Houthis, and a naval blockade of Venezuela. That's what made enemies into friends like that. The markets like the blockade. The Dow shut up 300 points today, and oil futures closed lower. You'd think the market would sell off after no peace deal over the weekend, but no. Smart money thinks the blockade will work. And so does top military brass. A former U.S. Navy commander told Primetime just last week, quarantining them squeezes their head to the wall. And you got to keep squeezing until they squeal.
I think it lasts until we can figure out what the Iranians are doing, continue to target their command and control, and if necessary, continue the kinetic attacks like you intimated. Go after those bridges, go after that electrical plants, put them down and make them hurt. Take them down to their knees if we absolutely have to, but we try to do it in a manner initially by putting a stranglehold on Karg where they cannot get oil out. And if China gets upset, gee, that's a win-win for the United States.
The Chinese are feeling the squeeze, too. The U.S. just became the world's emergency gas station. More on that in a minute. Which means no cheap, unsanctioned oil for Beijing. China's about to pay a premium, and their oil supply is about to get crushed. Xi's about to tap.
Mr. President, has Xi Jinping reached out? I know you're going to be...
No, but we have a very good relationship with China. He would like to see this ended also. He certainly wants it ended. Everyone, I want to see it ended, too.
Remember the last time we threatened bridge and power plant day? China called Iran and told them to cry uncle. Now the Iranian oil blockade is probably the knockout punch. The Iranians are trying to outlast us. The longer the war goes on, the longer their regime can hold off a revolution. But their economy is experiencing a crippling depression. This blockade's costing the regime almost $400 million a day. That's $13 billion a month. Plus, the Iranians can only store oil for about 2 weeks before they have to start shutting off wells. The Iranians can't outlast us. The world's turning to us for energy. Over 120 empty oil tankers are on their way to the Gulf of America.
Many ships are heading to our country right now as we speak to load up with the best, really, I guess you could say, somebody said the best and sweetest. I don't know exactly what sweet is, but when it relates to oil, it's a good thing. But they're coming to our country right now. There are many boats coming to our country.
Iranian steel and petrochemical industries have been wiped out. Without oil revenue, all they can sell are pistachios to Pakistanis. It could get worse. The president's still weighing limited airstrikes, saying a number of additional targets are very easy to hit. The Iranians are losing their cards here. And Vance, who just spent 20 hours negotiating with them, says that we're in the driver's seat.
I think the Iranians are going to determine what happens next as the President of the United States says we have the cards. We have the military advantage. We now have additional economic pressure that we're applying on them through the blockade that we've imposed on their oil coming out of the Straits of Hormuz. So we have a lot of cards. We have the leverage, and we're going to see what the Iranians do with that.
The ceasefire only has 8 days left, and the Iranians aren't playing ball. They don't understand that they're not negotiating with Barack Obama.
They will never have a nuclear weapon. Iran, you marking it down? Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. And we agreed to a lot of things, but they didn't agree to that. And I think they will agree to it. I'm almost sure of it. In fact, I am sure of it. If they don't agree, there's no deal. There'll never be a deal. Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, and we're going to get the dust back. We'll get it back either. We'll get it back from them or we'll take it.
Iranians could still have uranium deep underground. They're estimated to have over 1,000 pounds of it. The United States and Israel bombed their research labs and yellowcake facilities and killed their top nuclear scientists. But there's still a complex tunnel system built deep underneath their mountains. American satellites are monitoring the situation, and so far, nothing's been moved out. Pakistan says Iran doesn't have the military means to keep up the fight against us. It's only a matter of time. A door to a deal isn't closed. This is what a source tells Axios. Both sides are bargaining. It's a bazaar.
We've been called this morning by the right people, the appropriate people, and they want to work a deal. They would like to work a deal.
The New York Times, though, is hoping we lose the war because of their TDS.
I really don't want to see Bibi Netanyahu or Donald Trump politically strengthened by this war because they are two awful human beings. They're both engaged in anti-democratic projects in their own countries. They're both alleged crooks. They are terrible, terrible people doing terrible things to America's standing in the world and Israel's standing in the world. And so I really find myself torn. I want to see Iran militarily defeated, but I do not want to see these two terrible people strengthened.
Friedman's like, destroy the world's top terror regime and take away their nukes, or Trump looks good. Tough one.